This video, legendary drops, you guys already know. There is no way they are this stupid, all right? Let's see what he's talking about, because I actually don't know. I have not seen this, and I'm interested in what he's going on about here.
Yes, hello, Microsoft speaking. What's
he's
that?
talking about
Just give the
Microsoft.
players what they're asking for?
I should have guessed.
No, we hate money. What am I supposed to say about Xbox? You know, when you think things can't get worse, they always...
Right. This video is about how Xbox, they fired Phil Spencer and the other lady that have been running Xbox for like years now, and they replaced them with some lady that was like head of AI or whatever. They think that they're sunsetting Xbox. This could be the end of Xbox. It really could be. Wow, you got some good internet connection, bro.
Just seem to find a way.
Yeah, head of AI.
I've always said that Microsoft is just a plague inside the games industry, honestly, any industry that they dwell in, where they're just slowly but...
Yeah, he's 100% right, because you know what they do? They put their hands on something, pat its head, and then their hands off. That's it. They're like, okay, you didn't succeed. Time to shut you down. And Sony's turning into that.
Surely consuming everything in their path, ruining franchises in studios, all while trying to find more ways to make you pay and also keep you within their ecosystem. It's working. Not in the sense that Xbox is working. That's definitely not working. But working in a sense that they are dragging the industry, kicking and screaming towards a future none of us want. Xbox
How's the volume, chat?
That's done. That's been done. It's been done for like 20 years at this point. It's all but dead. Collapsing sales, games that nobody seems to care about.
Yeah, literally.
And they have about as many wins as hockey players have teeth. So you would think at some point these guys would be like, we got to do something different. We got to change things. Well, they did. Just not in the way that anybody would want them to. You guys somehow missed the news. Phil Spencer is now out as CEO, and they have replaced him with somebody who has no experience in gaming. No, instead they come from AI, from marketing, from...
Yep. They also did something. Some people are speculating. Okay, I'm saying speculating because the evidence points to this quite heavy, but it is not confirmed or denied, right? So that's why I say speculation. But someone made an account for the new head of Xbox, right? The lady, whatever her name is, and apparently in the past month, she's gained 10,000 gamer score, right? So they think someone is playing on her account and saying that she knows about games, and she came out and said that her favorite franchise is Halo and like 2 other ones, something like that. So yeah, we'll see.
From digital grocery stores, all things that we find very essential in the games industry. Let me tell you that right now. And now, if you guys actually think that this is just Microsoft doing this for no reason, wait till you see what they have in store.
Well, Microsoft always has a reason
you could possibly ask for. This company does not care about games. They don't care about the hobby. They don't care about their own customers. The only thing that they want to do is remove your sense of ownership, make you live inside AI, push you through a subscription treadmill, and feed you more ads than you will ever play video games. And
I'm making a prediction. I don't know. Maybe this is information that is already out there or something, but my prediction is this lady, what she does with Game Pass is she turns it into full game streaming, right? So you don't download the game anymore to your Xbox or to your PC. The Game Pass will now be full game streaming. And the different tiers will offer you like better speeds, better, higher quality streaming of the games, etc. I'm taking a guess that that's what's happening. Well, yeah, they have been, but I think this is going to accelerate that. I think she's going to push that much harder and faster now.
It all starts with this new CEO. Goodbye, Xbox. Hello, Microsoft Gaming. In 1997, Apple was dying. After just a few years of failed products and half-baked projects, they had no identity, no direction, and the rest of the world had basically written them off. They decided that it was over.
I've never streamed a game, so I can't speak on if it's good or not. I really can't.
But then the company went and they did something desperate. They brought back the guy they fired. Apple buys Next, which was Steve Jobs' software company, just to get him back in the building. And once he's in, he takes a machete to the place. He slashes their entire product lines, kills entire projects, and on his way back to being CEO, he fires 4,100 people. brutal, focused, and filled with conviction. After just a few years, Apple was a juggernaut. The iMac, then the iPod, then the iPhone, all these revolutionary products that were made.
Because Steve Jobs had a vision. They robbed him of his vision, so he created a company. It came back into the same company he created, and then went through with his vision. Steve Jobs had a vision for his company. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and that's what he did. Microsoft doesn't have a vision. Their vision is get money at the cost of you, the consumer.
With the user in mind. These guys save themselves by narrowing their vision and putting a product-obsessed psycho at the top that only cared about what products felt like to customers. I'm telling you this right now because in business school, they taught this like it was the alphabet. When a company is headed off a cliff, the first thing they look to change is the CEO. And almost every single CEO hire...
No. Because Bill Gates doesn't have a direction either. He doesn't have a vision anymore besides screw Russian hookers and get STDs and try to hide it from his wife.
Ends up falling into the same archetype, the fixer, the culture builder.
And then ask Epstein for pills or antibiotics.
Or the veteran or the product visionary like Steve Jobs. You can watch this play out basically across every single industry forever. So I expected to see the same thing from Xbox because, I mean, look at where these guys are right now. They close more studios than games they release. They put ads on the home screen of the console that you pay for. They are pushing
Sony
ads
be doing that
through
too.
xCloud. They've rapidly increased the prices of Game Pass. The last hike was a 50% jump, and it pushed subscribers to cancel at such a volume that it actually crashed their own subscription website. Xbox console sales are at a historic 12-year low, all pushed by some of the worst marketing that I've ever seen in my life. Everything is an Xbox, which blurred the idea of what an Xbox even is to the point.
It's because they're so disconnected from gamers. That's 100% what it is. And it's so crazy, right? You have this billion-dollar company, maybe trillion. I think Microsoft is actually one of the few trillion-dollar companies, I believe now, with seemingly unlimited money at its disposal, right? And you're telling me you can't get the most basic market research of what gamers might want? Really? It's BS. They just choose not to listen to us. They choose not to listen to us because they don't respect us. They just want, the only thing they respect is us opening up our wallets and giving them money. Make it more like Steam. Yeah. 100%.
Point that over the holidays, they were outsold by a bootleg Connect for 5-year-olds. Their crown jewel in Call of Duty.
Dude, I didn't even hear about this console thing. This little like cube thing. It has like a bunch of games for children. Actually insane how well it sold. It sold better than the PS5 and the Xbox, I believe.
They were outsold by a bootleg Connect.
This thing, yeah. Xbox was outsold by small family console during Black Friday weekend in the US. I'm pretty sure it outsold the PlayStation as well, but maybe not. I'm pretty sure it did though.
For 5-year-olds. Their crown jewel in Call of Duty just had one of its worst years in the history of the franchise. At nearly every single Xbox release that we have seen published by their platform since Starfield has barely gotten noticed.
I do wonder what the thinking was behind acquiring Activision and then putting Call of Duty on Game Pass, right? Surely they thought, someone thought, maybe even said, oh, it will cannibalize the actual sales of Call of Duty, right? Surely someone said that somewhere, but maybe not. Maybe they didn't think about that just because they want to get more subscribers for Game Pass and still make money, because maybe they're super disconnected or whatever. But if I can go ahead and just get the game on Game Pass for what, 10, 15 bucks a month? Why spend 70 when I can pay 15, right? Maybe play the game for like a month, maybe 2 months, right? Even then, that's 30 bucks. And then I'm done. I got my 30 bucks worth of content. And then I can move on to another game. Yeah, I don't either. If you do all the things to get points, it can be free. Yeah. I saw that. And even then, right? That just means that Microsoft loses money, even more so, and Xbox. So I don't know. I genuinely don't understand the thinking behind that.
Avowed, Towerborn, Outer Worlds 2, Gears of War Reloaded, Doom the Dark Ages, these releases have been so lackluster or completely off the mark that barely anybody has any real faith in what's coming next. When you see a brand that is falling off this hard, this fast. Something has to change. Something has to be done. Something has to give. You need the fixer. You need the product visionary. You need somebody that can come in and disrupt this direction and force a turn. More than anything, you need a change that will affect your customers, something that's going to build confidence or curiosity. And Microsoft, well, they just went and did the opposite.
Are they forgetting about Fable? I actually don't. I think Fable. I think Fable will probably do okay. I don't think it'll be like blow me out of the water, like, oh my god, best game ever. I don't. I think it'll do okay. I think their biggest hitter this year will more than likely be Forza Horizon 6. Without a doubt. I think that'll be their #1 game this year. I do. I think Fable could be huge as well. But I 100% believe Forza Horizon 6 will be bigger. Because there's a lot of people, I've seen a lot of online discourse about Fable, and a lot of people aren't liking how like the characters walk, the character customization, how there's like a lack of like blood when you're hitting enemies, and a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of things that they notice from the trailer that they're not liking, and that they don't feel like it is Fable. So, but as time gets closer with more trailers, and obviously as the product develops, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I personally would like the Fable series to be good, or the reboot to be good, and I hope it does so well for Xbox. I do, but as of right now, it's like a mixed outlook, I think.
Just a few days ago, after 17 years with Xbox and nearly 3 decades with Microsoft, Phil Spencer has officially retired, and his once thought replacement, the president of Xbox, Sarah Bond, has seemingly been pushed out the door soon after the announcement.
Konnichiwa Minisan. Exuboxu no Sarah des.
Replacing Phil Spencer is Asha Sharma, the president of Core AI for Microsoft. Its work history includes Instacart, the online grocery store, Meta, working for Instagram, and being a sitting board member of, get this, the Home Depot. Honestly, I actually feel like these guys could have done a better job just picking up somebody from outside of a Home Depot. Sorry, that was low-hanging fruit.
You know what's crazy? Hopefully the multiplayer is better than Fable 3. Did they even say it was going to have multiplayer? I honestly believe if they went and just like picked up a random gamer off the street, right? Someone that like grew up with Xbox or something like that, and just gave them full control over Xbox, I bet they could turn the company around like this, right? If you just assign someone that loves Xbox and understands what made Xbox back in the day, and gave them full creative like direction and control over all of Xbox and all of their studios, to just be like, look, this is what you're gonna make. I don't care what you say. This is what people want. This is what you're gonna make, and this is what's gonna come out, right? I don't care how long it takes. Just make a good game based on this criteria. Blah 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 blah. I bet you the company would do way better instead of hiring all these suits that are just super disconnected from genuine gamers.
I even start? Look, I'll be the first one to say that I've been calling for a leadership change from Xbox for years. I've always liked Phil Spencer as a gamer, but I've never liked this guy as a CEO. His biggest accomplishments are Game Pass and the death of console exclusivity. And yes, I love that these guys got rid of console exclusivity. It's a massively pro-consumer move, but what does that matter if the games aren't worth playing? Because under Spencer, nearly every single first-party release has just been absolutely garbage. These guys have just completely lost their place in the industry. Gears of War is...
Well, it qualifies them because they had apparently, they had experience at Instacart and Home Depot and Meta. And you know what's crazy? It wasn't even like the gaming department of Meta. If it was the gaming department of Meta, I think I would feel slightly better about it. Slightly. But it's not.
Borderline forgotten. 343, Halo Studios, has been dragging Halo through the mud for over a decade. Fable looks like it's just British Dragon Age the Veilguard. Obsidian's devs are more interested in dunking on Elon Musk online than actually making something that people actually want to play.
I don't know about that. I wonder what he's referencing there.
First Call of Duty ever. And the best thing that we got out of Bethesda is a remake of a nearly 20-year-old game that was made by a third-party studio. And before
That's how
anybody
it
hits
be.
me with Game Pass is a win, no, it is not. I am against subscription services flat out. I think they are toxic for the games industry. I get why people like them. I get why it feels like a deal, but we already know where this road ends because we watched it happen with TV and movies. Cheap entry, then the price hikes, then the tiers, then the ads, then the nickel and diming, and Microsoft has already been poking at that exact future for quite a while.
It's the same thing. I'm actually quite surprised Sony doesn't have something like that. Maybe they do, right? They do it with PS Plus or something. I think you get like you get free like Sony Game Pass through PS Plus or like included. Maybe they do. But it's always cheap at first. So that way it gets a bunch of people in. And then over time, they'll be like, we got to raise the prices a little bit, blah, 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 blah. And then it'll eventually get to a point where people are like, okay, we're done. I'd rather just start pirating my games. Yeah, I think that's where Game Pass shines. I do. I think Game Pass is great at letting people try out games and playing things that they otherwise probably wouldn't experience by utilizing their own paycheck, right? I genuinely believe that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, is Game Pass garnering and gaining new fans for these franchises that they have, right? Well, they'll like be like, okay, oh, I really enjoyed the first one on Game Pass. The second one is coming out. You know what? I will go and drop $60 or $70 on that, or even 80, as they tried pushing before, right? That's where I would want to see as a business person or even as like a CEO. Is that where Game Pass is making the best conversion, I guess, right? Is it making new fans of these franchises that makes them want to buy the next title instead of borrow the next title, right? I think Game Pass, if it was utilized in that way, more so than how it is utilized now, I think it'd be in a much better place. But obviously the game has to be good though, right? And the franchise does too. I would buy Power Wash 2 if it were to leave Game Pass probably. And that's good. That's great. And that's where I think they should be really focusing on making Game Pass how it is, right? They should be really focusing on making Game Pass cheap and accessible, so that way people get to try out more games, fall in love with these games, and then if for some reason maybe the developer doesn't want to have it on Game Pass anymore or whatever, has it made enough people enjoy the game for them to go out and buy it on their own? I beat Hard Space, Shipbreaker, in Game Pass, and I was gonna buy it even, but it was a little too pricey. See, and I know you get a discount if you have it on Game Pass as well. You can get a discount with it too. I think it's like 10% or something. But I think that's like one of the metrics they should focus on more so is Game Pass subscribers to converting paying customers.
Now, them getting rid of Sarah Bond, I have no problem with that. I genuinely do not know what Microsoft thought they were doing with that hire. Another marketing-first executive that more looked like a PR move after the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. A nice, clean, inclusive face to put on after all the lawsuits. And now it's coming out that people didn't even like working with her. And she was the key architect behind the genius strategy of everything is an Xbox campaign, so nobody had any reason to buy the damn console. But here's Microsoft, yet again, seemingly making the exact same mistake with their next CEO. Now, it's like I said earlier, leadership changes like this are supposed to stabilize the brand, improve.
It's always a cycle. You just rinse and repeat. Just a new face, same thing. It's always how it is.
Improve the image.
It was 10% off games and DLC, but I think they might have gotten rid of that when they bumped the price. Really? Wow. That's really terrible. That's genuinely really terrible.
Restore confidence, give people something to look forward to, not light your last bit of credibility on fire. And instead of replacing Phil Spencer with somebody that the audience recognizes, somebody with experience, somebody with actual credentials, Microsoft replaces him with an unknown quantity whose background is in AI, marketing, and social media. Now, I've already seen the criticisms fire up online. People are not happy that she does not have a background in gaming. Now, I've also seen spineless journalists line up to forgive it, likely just trying to get there to maintain their access. Christopher Dring of the games business tweeting out, "You don't have to be a gamer to work in games. You don't
have to be a gamer to work in video games." I'm pretty sure Bobby Kotick, all right, the devil himself, was not a gamer, and look what he did to Activision Blizzard. Look what he did to Call of Duty. Look what he did to Overwatch. You don't have to be a gamer to work in video games. You're absolutely right. But would it make a big difference? 100% it would.
Have to have a gaming background to run a game company. The industry could do with some outside thinking, frankly. God, these people are so insufferable and dishonest. What is
outside thinking? Right, because working at Home Depot, Meta, and not even the Meta games department and Instacart is for sure going to tell you exactly how this market works, how the video game market works. 100%. Yeah, buddy, you're spot on.
wrong with them? Why are they like this? We are not talking about who's allowed to work in games. We're talking about...
Bro, this is like, okay, this would be the same as like taking someone with her background and then putting them as like the executive producer of a movie. It wouldn't even make sense. Because this person has no idea how to make a movie, produce a movie, or even how the industry works. It doesn't make it makes zero sense.
The person who has the power to decide what games even are moving forward. And for somebody that's quite literally working for the biggest game publisher in the entire world. This is a CEO that's not just running a company. They are setting incentives. They are deciding whether the goal is a great game or a monetization trap, whether the product is a console or a subscription, whether the players are players or if they're users now. And when you put somebody into that seat that doesn't understand the culture, doesn't understand the audience, and doesn't understand the craft, you don't get outside thinking. You get a corporate replacement. You get a puppet. That's what you get. You get games that are going to be designed for what they think people should expect and what people should accept, not what people actually want. And if you can't connect with the people that are making games or the people that are playing them, well, then the obvious thing that you're building is nothing for us. This is not an outside thinker. This is an undercover agent posting gamer cred online for what looks to be a 1-month-old Xbox.
Oh, yeah. See, this is what we talked about earlier, right? In the video, in the video where they said that they were like creating an account for her. So like new Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has now publicly shared her gamer tag. She has a 10.86K gamer score and seemingly only started playing on Xbox or this gamer tag 1 month ago. She or whomever runs the account has played 29 games in the span of that month. There is no way you have played 29 games in the span of that month. There's no way. Dude, that's a game a day, essentially.
Account with complete.
It's possible if you don't finish the game. And you play it for like, I don't know, 5 hours. You play one game every day for 5 hours.
Rates that makes it look like she's playing 80 hours a week. This is a CEO whose Twitter replies have people convinced that she's more AI than an actual human. A CEO.
X users are noticing and claiming that the new Xbox CEO could be using AI in replies and that the whole account might be managed by an AI bot. I did my top 3 in another reply. Halo Valheim 007. It's been a long time since I played Chrono Trigger. Have you done every ending? Thanks for all the detail. I appreciate it a ton. Oh.
Who is already speaking corporate parcel tongue. Return to play. We hear you. Vague nonsense that means nothing. And the whole exclusivity business? Come on, guys. What are you talking about? Talking like they're actually going to list exclusivity.
Responsive fans saying Xbox games should be console exclusive. Hear you. I hope that you understand how important exclusive games are and how games like Halo, Forza, Gears, Fable created an identity for Xbox and its players, becoming a key point for Xbox's success. Xbox games must be only on Xbox.
Business? Oh boy. Come on, guys. What are you talking about? Talking like they're actually going to listen about exclusives, like Microsoft is going to walk away from the one lever that actually gives any of their releases any shot at profitability. That ship sailed a long time ago, especially when they do not have the games to command enough of an audience and they don't have the hardware sales to justify keeping those games locked away. I think that this CEO is a move towards what every single prior Xbox leader tried to spend years protecting the brand from: Microsoft. Whether it was Robbie Bach, Kevin Backus, the original Xbox team with Seamus Blackley, or even Peter Moore, the guy that actually...
They wanted someone that was going to go in there and do exactly what Microsoft wants them to do with Xbox instead of not really listening and only conforming a little bit. But we'll see.
Help turn Xbox into a household name. You hear the same theme and the same story over and over again. Keep Microsoft's hands out of it as much as possible, because Microsoft just doesn't understand the product or the players. They don't understand the culture, and every single time they get a little bit too close, they get the same kind of interference, forcing corporate priorities onto a player-facing problem. This does not feel like...
I mean, look at that update that they did with Minecraft, right? They have no creative ability over at Minecraft anymore. They said, okay, let's release Martin Luther King in Minecraft. That's your big update? Really? You guys could have done so much more. There's so much potential in Minecraft, right? You could just literally hire modders. Modders will make your game significantly better than whatever you guys got going on over at the studio.
Xbox is choosing a new direction. This feels like Microsoft is finally walking in the front door, and I don't think people are ready for how bad things are about to get. Xbox, Microsoft, what were you thinking? Did you guys actually believe that you were going to be able to sneak this past the most terminally online community? Did you not believe that they are not watching every breath you take, every move you make? They'll be watching you by the police. Did you think they wouldn't sniff out the fact that you made an Xbox account just a month ago that's unlocking achievements that even some of the most hardcore gamers don't have? That this account is pushing hours that would make the unemployed blush? The unemployed, they recognize their own. You're not one of them. I have a very hard time believing that they are no-lifing video games while also in the transition of power to CEO.
Literally, that's impossible, bro. That is like quite literally impossible. You have to be getting zero sleep and talking to literally nobody besides while you're at work.
Especially since their last position was the president of their AI division. I'm pretty sure they have plenty of other things to worry about right now. You guys didn't think of that. You guys didn't care. This is all a front.
They don't think about it because they don't care. It's the truth. What they care about is getting you to open your wallet and give them money. That's the only thing they care about. And they want it done in their specific way, the Microsoft way, the Microsoft way, okay? That's what they want. And if it's not going to happen that way, then well, they had to get rid of Phil Spencer, and now they have this lady coming in.
All them just trying to sneak their little soldier over enemy lines to come in and push their programs and their platforms and their services and their subscriptions and their AI, everything they can do, everything they desperately want, ultimately trying to turn Xbox into the worst experience possible, because it's exactly what they've done to Windows. You don't need to have experience in making games.
Yeah. Windows just gets worse and worse.
We've had plenty of outside thinkers. They're called shareholders, and look what it's done to the games industry. It's warped it into...
Like, I think last month, too, there was like a Windows update. NVIDIA had to come out and say, yo, this isn't on us. The Windows update, you might want to roll it back. It's causing a whole bunch of problems. And it's like, dude, are you serious? Oh, I don't know what's going on with the stream again. I really don't get what's going on. Why is the internet connection just so bad? It just does not want to do it.
One of the most greedy, predatory, and hostile environments that I've seen for just about any other industry. It feels like every single year we grow further and further away from the game side of the video game industry. Everything is about cloud. Everything is about games as a service, games as a platform, microtransactions, engagement, whatever else they can get their hands on or whatever else they can dream up. And when I see a leadership change like this, this is a move further in that direction, pushing that direction. This is more about games as a service rather than games as games. This is more about Xbox 100%. As a service rather than Xbox as a platform. And I'll be honest,
software as a service has destroyed the industry entirely. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hold on, chat. I got a big sneeze. Oh, boy.
I think this goes a lot further than that. I think it gets a lot worse than this. I think that this is likely going to be the death of Xbox, not only as a platform, but even as a publisher. And you don't even have to take my word for that. Just listen to the guy that made Xbox.
Let's see what he said.
Now, I'll be honest, when I saw this leadership change, my first thought wasn't who is she? It was what does Microsoft want to do with Xbox? A lot of people still talk about Microsoft and Xbox like they're two separate things, but they never were and never will be. Xbox has always been a piece of Microsoft's bigger strategy, reaching more users and trying to stay relevant with the next generation. But even at its peak, Xbox is still just a rounding error in Microsoft's world.
It's quite small.
A small slice of their earnings, only 7%, while the rest of this company has been all in on AI and cloud. So when the new CEO is coming straight out of the AI side of the house, that doesn't read like we're here to fix games. It reads more like we're here to integrate Xbox into the rest of the machine, but apparently it's a lot worse.
You're going to have Copilot soon on your Xbox. You're going to be able to say, hey, Copilot, open up this. Okay, now play the game for me.
Worse than that. Games Radar just ran a piece titled Xbox will be sunsetted under new CEO, quoting original Xbox co-founder Seamus Blackley, saying her job was basically palliative care to slide Xbox gently into the night.
That would be crazy if
original
this is true.
Xbox co-founder and console designer Seamus Blackley reckons it's no coincidence that Microsoft installed a core AI executive like Asha Sharma as the new CEO of the gaming arm. Rather, he sees Sharma's position as a sign that the non-AI business, like Xbox, will be sunsetted as Microsoft invests wholly in AI as its ultimate solution to absolutely everything.
And they can't let us just have something. It just has to be AI. There has to be AI integration. There can't just be something that is just for the user, right? There just can't be.
Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't core AI businesses, are being sunsetted, he said. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job will be the palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. Blackley also expressed confusion at Sharma's appointment, concluding that the logical explanation is that Microsoft is...
And honestly, it is believable, right? Because he just showed the graph of how big Xbox is to Microsoft, and it's really not that big of a loss if they really do just close Xbox Studios as a whole. It's really not that big of a loss, I guess, to them. They could sell the IPs, they could sell the company off, they could sell the branding, all of that, right? They could just get rid of it and be perfectly fine.
Especially CEO Satya Nadella wanted an AI person for what's viewed as an AI job. I imagine asking somebody if it made sense to put a major motion picture studio into the hands of somebody who didn't like movies, or a major record label into the hands of somebody who had never seen a live show, Blackley said. Why would you do that? Well, you would do it if you were looking at the problem in an abstract way. The natural consequence of the focus on AI is that AI abstracts every problem from the minds of executives who believe in it. We're abstracting the problem of games as well. That's a core belief, and you can see it in what Satya said, that AI will subsume games like it will subsume everything.
Which is crazy.
Blackley stressed that it doesn't matter whether or not you agree with this view of AI or games, only that you recognize that Microsoft is indeed committed to AI. If anything, he said, it would have been shocking if they had someone in there in a meaningful role who was passionate about games, passionate about the creator-driven business of games, because it would be in direct conflict with everything Microsoft is doing. Microsoft is a company that is now enabling customers by enabling AI to drive things, Blackley said. That is at odds with the auteur model of any art, but specifically of games. Now, a lot of people are going to take this as anti-AI, but I don't necessarily think that it is. I think he's just talking about the direction that the company is headed in and how Xbox just kind of comes at odds to that. And I'm going to be honest with you, that almost lines up perfectly with how Microsoft has been operating. And it's coming from somebody who didn't just make Xbox happen. This guy fought Microsoft to make it happen. He helped build the console.
Yeah.
And I mean, looking at Microsoft over the past couple of years, it's all been AI investment, cloud build out, data center expansion, and nonstop messaging about how AI is the next best thing, how we need to stop bullying AI, and how...
Yeah, I thought this was so funny how the CEO comes out, he's like, yo, you gotta stop calling it Clanker, you gotta stop calling it Slop or whatever. We're like bullying AI. Like, dude, it's artificial, man. Let it go.
AI is going to subsume everything. They talk about it like a company that is adopting a religion. And once you start thinking like that, every product's...
Dude, and you know what's crazy? The way that they, like, these companies are going about it, it's so cult-like. You know? It's like, okay, you gotta conform. You must have AI. You must believe in it.
Stops being the thing and starts being a vehicle, a surface, an endpoint, something to be able to integrate their strategy into, whether the customers asked for it or not. And that's why that line from Blackley really hits hard, abstracting the problem. If you truly believe that AI is the solution to everything, like a lot of these guys do, then games aren't a craft anymore. They're an input. Studios aren't the point. They're unnecessary.
And the problem is these people never viewed video games as a medium similar to a movie or music or anything like that. They don't view it as art. They view it as software. And that's why it's turning into software as a service, or SaaS, right? For the short term, for the abbreviation, SaaS. And that's not what video games are. They're an art form. They're a means of expression of human creativity. And that's the difference, right? When you go back and take a look at a game from early 2000s or even early 10s, right, and compare it to a game in the past 6 years, 7 years, the game isn't an art form anymore. It's a product. It's not. It's meant to gather as much data and money from you as possible, rather than give you an experience that makes you want to buy more into the game, buy more into the franchise.
Creators aren't partners. They're
The best example of this as well is Deadlock. How is it that 100,000 players are playing a game that is invite only, still in alpha, with nothing to grind for, no cosmetics, not even really a good ranking system or a real ranking system, and people are still logging in every day to play this game? Why? Because it's an art form. It's made with passion. The creators and the developers of the game are expressing their creativity in the best ways they possibly can in that game, and it is doing exceedingly well for an invite-only game. It is unreal how good Deadlock is.
Users, and as a result,
Deadlock is literally just going against everything that the big industry wants or is doing, and it's succeeding. It's that simple.
Games and Xbox and everything in general just becomes collateral damage for a problem that they have abstracted a solution for. What I think people should try to take away from this is that if you're somebody like Satya Nadella and you genuinely believe that software as a service is over, that the whole process of making something, creating something, using software is dead because
No, it's in fact, that's completely wrong. It's actually going to enable it even more. AI is going to enable software as a service even more because it can produce more. It'll be more powerful. It'll be everywhere, and it'll be integrated into everything.
AI will do it. Well, then you're basically admitting to what Blackley is implying. If software doesn't matter, well, then games don't matter. And if games don't matter, then what do you need a games business for? Nothing here spells anything good for Xbox.
I disagree, because I think it's going to be in everything, and I think it's going to enable software as a service even more.
Get this. And I'm not even against AI. There are just way too many red flags here, and there's so much reckless abandon when it comes to personal sovereignty, ownership, and creative freedom.
Yes.
I am not on board with these people that want to treat AI like it's a miracle cure for everything. Nothing ever is. We do not even know what this is actually going to be good for in the long term. It hasn't even delivered on half of the promises that these guys are selling. The most consistent use case that I have seen is that it's getting better as a search engine. And even then, you need to be careful because, well, it likes to source Reddit a lot. And also, AI videos are getting pretty good. But it's also getting close enough to reality that it's going to start wreaking havoc on trust, credibility, fraud, safety, and security. It is a razor-sharp, double-edged sword that is being swung around by the richest people on Earth that do not have to live with any of the consequences. And you can already see what that mindset does. Look at the hardware market. The AI arms race is sucking up hardware like it's oxygen, and regular people are the ones that are
64 gigs for $837. Lowest price in 30 days. For some Corsair. Wow, that's crazy.
Fitting the bill. Higher prices, tighter supply, worse upgrades. That's the future that these guys are building. Not better products, just bigger machines, and all forcing you to adapt to it.
I felt that, Canadian. I felt that.
When I look at where this is heading for gaming, I think the path is pretty obvious. They want you guys off of your own hardware and inside their ecosystem, paying for their subscriptions, getting fed ads any chance they can get, and all the freedom that they're selling, it's just freedom inside of a box. It's their systems, their models, their prompts, their rules. They get to control who gets access, for how long, for how much, and they get to control what you're allowed to make. They're going to sell it like you can do anything, but it's not anything. It's just whatever fits inside the cage that they built.
Yep. And this is why Valve keeps winning, right? They see what the big market is doing, right? Confining this consumer into a box. And Valve is like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do the opposite of that. And everybody loves it because nobody wants to be confined to a box, right? They don't. And the people only accept it because it's the only choice they have, right? It's true. Like, think about it. We have two major operating systems for phones, Android and iOS. There's Graphene OS, but you still need an Android phone for that, right? You're confined to a box in just about every technological aspect that's out there.
I can already hear the comments now, but let these game developers get replaced by AI. These games suck. These game developers suck. Look, bad game developers is a management problem. That is not something.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I wish they were able to compete more. I wish BlackBerry was able to compete more. I wish there was a lot of things. There's a lot of phone companies, but there's not a lot of OSs. And I think that's what's hindering the phone market as well. Like, there's just not enough operating systems. All the individual phones, like Samsung, they'll have like their own OS, but it's built off of Android, so you're still locked into Android at the end of the day. Yeah, I do.
For AI to solve. Getting rid of these developers, you're just going to be left with the same idiots that are pushing a lot of these games.
Or BlackBerry was big in some
shouldn't even have made it
too.
into the games industry. Absolutely. But AI does not solve taste. Taste is something that you cannot brute force. It is something that you have to develop through literacy, through knowing why one mechanic feels good and another feels hollow, through understanding pacing, tension, payoff, and restraint.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we've gotten some of the greatest works of art. It's how we got Lord of the Rings. If the people that are making decisions do not have that literacy, if they do not understand people, culture, or craft, then giving them better automation doesn't solve the problem. It just lets them misunderstand you at an even greater scale. But I will say, even with all the money and pressure in the world, I don't think that the future is going to land the way that a lot of these executives think that it will, because I think they fundamentally do not understand the product that is being delivered. They do think it is a one-size-fits-all solution for just about everything. AI is not a consumer product. It's a tool. I may own a hammer, but I don't use it every day. A carpenter does. Some people are going to use it to make their workflows faster. Some industries are going to use it to automate repetitive tasks. That makes sense. That's where it belongs. But this idea that AI itself is going to be the next...
So they're trying to make AI into a product for everyone, right? And that doesn't work. It's impossible to make a product for everyone. I just bit the inside of my lip. It's impossible to make a product for everyone. It truly is. Even for like heavy users, I doubt that they're going to be using it every single day, unless it's like unless it's like something automated where their hands are off, right? And use the description of a carpenter, right? A carpenter takes a break at some point. He doesn't pick up his hammer every day of his life. Okay?
Mass market entertainment platform, I just don't buy it. I don't see people just wanting to sit around prompting their own content into existence. We don't grow our own food, even though we could. We don't build our own houses. We don't sew our own clothes. We don't write our own music. We don't want infinite raw materials. We want something crafted by somebody else. We want taste. We want intention. We want something different. We want something outside of ourselves. And I think that's especially true in video games. They think that AI is the next thing to sell, but I think what people actually want is still just a video game. I'm going to say it again. I think that AI can be a great tool, but I do not see it being a consumer product, because maybe it will be one day, but right now...
That was a wild pronunciation of infinite. How do you pronounce infinite? Let me go back like right here.
We want taste. We want intention. We build our own houses. We don't sew our own clothes. We don't write our own music. We don't want infinite raw materials. We want...
Infinite? I've heard it pronounced like that. But rarely. I think it's probably just regional how they say it. Like if you go like in different places in the US, you'll hear like Appalachia Mountains versus Appalachian Mountains, etc. I just think it's regional pronunciation.
want something crafted by somebody else. We want taste. We want intention. We want something different. We want something outside of ourselves. And I think that's especially true in video games. They think that AI is the next thing to sell, but I think what people actually want is still just a video game.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it
that's what we
again. I
want.
think that AI can be a great tool, but I do not see it being a consumer product because maybe it will be one day, but right now in its current iteration, I just don't see that being the case. These guys are walking around and they're offering solutions to customers for problems that they don't even have. You are fundamentally breaking the sales cycle. You're supposed to find a lead, qualify that lead, and then offer a solution.
That's literally basic business class right there.
These guys, I'm turning to them and saying, I want better games. And they're like, what if you made your own? That doesn't fix my problem, nor is it what I want.
Right. Literally, no.
I think that this is genuinely the end of Xbox, which is...
Yes, produce your own after you go to work and work for 8-9 hours. Go ahead, produce your own game and then play it. Like, really? That's not what I want, bro. I want you to make the game. You got the money, the resources, the power, the market research, the everything, right? Make it.
Really sad because I loved Xbox. I really did. This is not the future that I wanted to see them
I guess.
live out. That's
Canadian.
definitely for sure. I have some of the best memories on their platform, on a lot of their games. It's where I met most of my friends that I still play games with today. But this is the most self-inflicted downfall that I think we have ever seen. And these guys just continue to double down on the worst decisions possible. And it has weakened their platform. It's weakened their games. And Microsoft is not the kind of company that is going to try to fix it. They're just going to cut off the limb because they don't know how to fix it.
And their track record proves this. Mixer. You guys remember Mixer? Twitch's competitor? They had it open for like, what, 5 years or something? Was it successful? So they said, okay, bye. Xbox is getting to the point where it's just not successful anymore. And they're going, and it's such a small division in their overall company. They're just going to say, okay, bye. Yeah, a lot of people did, but Microsoft didn't. And that's what it comes down to. If Microsoft doesn't love the product that they have, peace, sayonara, you're dead. It's just like Netflix. If the show doesn't instantly have like 10 billion views, canceled. Yeah, literally. If it's not the #1 trending thing in the next week, it's over.
Or in most cases, they probably think that something else is the new future, the better direction. And
these guys have a big problem with instant gratification. That's what it boils down to.
All this is going to do is it's just going to collapse the...
And they expect you to just instantly love it when it's just terrible as well. Like, if the show isn't good, bro, the show isn't good. You're not going to get the views and the amount of people watching it that you want it to watch, especially if the show is not good, or if the game is not good, or if the art piece is not good, if the music is not good, okay? If something isn't good, people aren't going to engage with it.
Xbox brand even faster and even further. Trust is already gone. I don't see anybody actually believing in the direction that this company is going in. And while I would love to see that future turn out to be bright, and I'd love to be proved wrong, I just don't see that being the case.
I don't either.
I really don't. I personally do not see a universe where this CEO comes in and revives Xbox. I am right with Blackley. I think that they are here to sunset this brand, to move them towards being an AI platform, to being...
That might have been before my time, before I was like really big into all of this like industry stuff. So I don't know. I don't know much about old Fox shows or anything like that.
A games as a service platform that lines up with everything.
I used to think FX was Fox, so that tells you something. Something, I'm sure.
This company has been pushing with xCloud, with Game Pass, with everything else, and I don't know what that means for the studios that are under them. I don't know what that means for the...
Yeah, and that's also like the really big... That's like also like the terrible part, right? You have... Xbox has a bunch of studios, right? Some of the most well-known studios in the gaming industry. And if Microsoft decides to close it or sell it off or whatever, right? What happens to all these people's jobs? What happens to these game studios that have made games that people love, like Forza Horizon and Forza? What happens to Gears of War, one of my favorite franchises, right? What happens to Halo? what happens to, I'm not saying like that anything that these guys have produced, but it'd be crazy to think that there wouldn't ever be another Halo game or another Gears of War game or something like that. You know, like imagine if this was on the other side of the spectrum with Sony and we never got another God of War game, or another. I don't think we're ever going to get another Killzone game, but you know, like maybe another Destiny. Like imagine they close Bungie because they decide, oh, PlayStation isn't profitable enough. We're going to close the whole everything down. You know, they did. They had Family Guy. I didn't know they had Family Guy.
The IP that's under them. I would hope that they sell off some of that stuff. I hope that they would give some of these developers a path to independence with a lot of these companies. But to be honest with you guys, looking at how hard they push into AI, there's a really good chance they're going to try to hold on to everything except for the people, and they're just going to use it as AI training data.
Yep.
It's a dark future, man. But realistically, if I'm putting myself in the seat of these executives, if I remove my understanding of games, of the industry, of common sense, that's what I would do. Because at least from a business perspective, it's the one thing that makes the most sense, especially looking at where investor money is at today. Because if I do those things, if I say those things, investors are going to be happy. Customers won't be. But customers don't make my stocks go up.
Right. If the number's just green, even by 0.1%, we're golden. But if it's down by 0.1%, what are you doing? What are you doing to my money? What's going on here?
Investors do. Anyway.
Huh.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely not one I was happy to make, that's for sure.
Well, you guys already know. Give him some love.